Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 505. Oh, welcome back if you're a lovely viewer. My name is Nick, and guesting today. Oh, hopefully I get pointed right. Adam from What the Gym. This is the second appearance on my channel. Uh,
Great to be back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hopefully you could. Well, when I continue the Bob Dylan series, I know you're going to star on a couple of these albums, so I'm
Mhm.
excited to have you for those albums.
Yeah, I'm excited for them as well.
But right now, we're not talking about Bob Dylan. Today, we're going to be doing the top five Elton John albums.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say about Elton John before we start beginning?
Just in my opinion, in the early to mid '70s, Elton John, I guess, was I'd say he was a king of music for that time period.
Yeah, he was just making great music after great music. It's hard to disagree on that. He's just making one great album after another. It just Elton John was not losing. Let's just say that he was just pumping them out. Great music
Mhm.
after great music. Even his first album from England's pretty good. Even though I really like Skyline Pigeon, it's still a decent album. Like the albums that, but like to me, the albums that he's making from 1970 all the way to 1975 is just to me all amazing albums.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
today we're only going to pick the five of them though, since if we did 10, it would be it's good. It will be a long discussion. But Adam, what's your number five?
We did do on mentions last. I'm going to
Okay.
do them now.
We'll do it before number one.
So I'll get to my number five then,
Yes.
which is Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy from 1975. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic album. Just like all the Elton John 1970s albums, it's full of great hidden gems, in my opinion. But my favorite track from it is "Someone Say Alive Tonight," which is the hit of the album. But I love the title track, and yeah, I think all the songs are fantastic. I just think out of the other five Elton John albums, out of the other four, I should say, it's probably the one I choose to listen to the least. That's why it's my number five. But yeah, I think it's a brilliant album. So it gets my number five.
Yeah, this is a really good album. That's a really good album. It's not my top five, but that's a really good album. My number five.
Yeah.
I own all these on record. My number five is going to be Madman Across the Water. This is his 1971 album. This was his this is his fourth album made in uh, like in England, but his third album in America. Uh, this is an amazing album. So many great songs. I mean, it has the big hit "Tiny Dancer" on it, which that song's amazing in its own right. But it has a lot of good deep cuts. I really like the title track. Holiday End's a really good song. Leave On's great. My favorite song on the album, one of my all-time favorite songs by him in general, is "Indian Sunset." That song is amazing. If any of you guys are an Elton John fan, you never heard that song before, definitely check it out. It's amazing. Yeah, it's my
Well,
number.
I get to my number four, which is an album you can see behind me. It's Tumbleweed Connection from 1970. I always referred to it as Elton John goes country. I think it's quite unique because it's a very country sounding album. I don't really think he did many other albums that sounded like that. But yeah, I think it's excellent from start to finish. But my favorite track is probably Country Comfort. I think that one's really good. But to me, the reason why it's not as high is it's not any higher than number four. I think it's a bit of a long album. I think if it was slightly shorter, it probably would be my number three. But yeah, it's my number four.
I like Tumbleweed Connection. I'd say it's probably my least favorite of all the albums that he released from 1970 75. It's good. I like it, but it's not an album that I really go back to that often. Like I could see why it's in your number 4 spot though.
Yeah.
My number 4 spot is going to go to his first album in America, aptly named self-titled. It is Elton John. If I'm correct, this is Scott's favorite Elton John album, for good reason. Much huge improvement from the first album from England. I really I thought the first album was good, like I said, but besides Skylight Pigeon, there's nothing really like notable on it. But this album has a lot of great notable songs on it. First song, Your Song, it's a brilliant song. Never get tired of it. It's such a beautiful song. I Need You to Turn To, great Baroque song, really great. Take Me to the Pilot, nice, great song after that. No Shoestrings on Luis is good. First episode at Heighton is a great side one closer. Side 2 isn't the reason why it's not any higher than number 4. I don't think. Besides The King Must Die, I'd say the second side isn't as strong as the first side. Yeah, that's my number 4, Elton John.
And then my number 3 is an album you mentioned earlier. It's Madman Across the Water. It's from 1971. Like my favorite year of music. And yeah, I think this is another Elton John album that I think it's brilliant from start to finish. I think it's got the best 1-2 punch that Elton John did with Tiny Dancer and Leave On. They're both classic Elton songs. And I think my least favorite track on the album is probably the title track. Although I still think it's really good. I think the second side is full of a lot of great deep cuts. I think my favourite song on the second side is probably either All the Nasties, or I'll probably go with or Indian Sunset as well. I know, yeah, that's what was your favourite song on the second side.
I love Indian Sunset. Love that song.
Yeah.
I feel like that song should have been a bigger hit.
I agree.
My number 3 is going to be probably most people's number 1. It's going to be Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. First time I ever heard this album was with Scott. I think this is an amazing album. Side 1, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lights Bleeding. That's an amazing opening track. Great deep cut. Candle in the Wind's an amazing song. Benny and the Jets isn't one of my favorites, but I've since grown to like it more. Side 2, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. That's a masterpiece. This song has no title. Probably my favorite song on the album. Gray Seal's really good. I actually like Jamaica Jerk Off. It's a good song. I think it's a fun, goofy song. And I think Side 2 closes out pretty well. I've seen that movie too. Side 3, the reason why this album isn't in my top 2 or even my favorites, because Side 3 kind of slows things down, and I've never been the biggest fan of this third side. All the songs are just okay. Side 4, though, brings it back up. Your Sister Can't Twist is a great opener, kind of brings things back to life. Never been the biggest fan of Saturday. It's not All Right for Fighting. Saturday's Night's All Right for Fighting. That and Benny and the Jets I've never been the biggest fan of, but Benny and the Jets that song has grown on me, but Saturday's Night's All Right for Fighting has never really grown on me. The last songs on the album are really good though. Roy Rogers, Social Disease, and Harmony. Great songs. Yeah, that's my number 3.
Before I get to my number 2, I've got to mention my favourite song from Madman Across the Water. And for me, it's Tiny Dancer. But my second favourite Elton John album is actually his self-titled album from 1970. I've got both of his 1970 albums. We were top 5 of Elton John albums. It starts off with my favourite Elton John song, with Your Song. But I also love Take Me to the Pilot, which is one of Elton's first singles. Border Song, I think, is really, really awesome. The greatest discovery. It might be my favorite Elton John deep cut. It's in my top 10 Elton John songs, and I personally love the album closer with the King of Sky. Yeah, I think it's a near perfect album from start to finish.
Yeah, that's kind of why it was like that low, not low, but why it wasn't any higher on my list. Because there's some songs I'm not as into. Honky Chateau is my number two. This album's amazing. It opens up with Honky Cat. Little side note. This was the first Elton John album I've ever heard, so I have a little bias towards it. Honky Cat's amazing. Mellow's an underrated song. I think I'm going to kill myself is a pretty catchy song, even though it's dark. Susie Dreams is pretty cool, and of course it ends off this first side with Rocket Man, which is one of his. It's his most iconic song, if not one of them at least. Side two opens up with Salvation, which is extremely underrated. I really like Slave. I love Amy. I like Mona Lisa's and the Mad Hatter. So that's an amazing song. And it closes out with the amazing Hercules. Love Hercules. Hercules is extremely underrated. But
I'll get to my favorite Elton John album.
You could give your honorable mentions first.
Okay, we'll do that first. Well, Honky Chateau is one of the honorable mentions, as well as Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. Yeah, my honorable mentions.
Cool. My honorable mentions would be, I'd say, what you call it? Caribou is a good honorable mention. Rock of the West Seas is underrated album. And Too Low for Zero. Those are my honorable mentions.
I guess my number one then.
Yes.
And this, of course, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Elton's biggest album. I think it's his most successful album. And it was the first Elton album I ever heard. I think the first side, well, it starts off brilliantly with Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. One of my favorite Elton album openers. It'd be my top three Elton John album openers. But Candle in the Wind, another one of my favorite Elton John songs. And Benny and the Jets, it's never been one of my favorites, but I still think it's really great. It's a very catchy song. The second side's got my favorite song on the album. Another one of my favorite Elton John songs. That's of course been Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This song has no title. I think it's great. Grey Seal. I think it's an underrated classic. My opinion. I like Jamaica Jerk Off, and I've seen that movie too. It's pretty great as well. Then you get to side three with Sweet Painted Lady, which I think is quite an underrated song. I really enjoy that one. Then you got the Ballad of Danny Bailey. Not much I really got to say about that one, but I still like it. Same goes for Dirty Little Girl and All the Girls of Alice. I think side three is my least favourite side, but I still really enjoy it. And side four, you've got Your Sister Can't Dance, but Shake and Rock and Roll is a great rock song. And Saturday Night, All Right for Fighting. I think it's a fantastic song. They're one of the standouts on the album for me. Then you got Roy Rogers, which is great, and Social Disease, which is great, and Harmony. I think it's a perfect way of closing this album. It's my favorite Elton John album. It's one of my favorite double albums of all time. It's my number one.
Good choice. My number one is album you mentioned as an honorable mention. That's Don't You Me, I'm the Piano Player. I'd say this is probably his most underrated album in terms of his like classic period. A lot of people I feel like this is like an overlooked album because this came out between Honky Chateau and Yellow Brick Road. So I feel like this album always gets overlooked a little bit. I think this is a masterpiece. It opens up with Danielle, which is a brilliant song. I love Danielle. Teacher, I Need You, great piano opening. Great song. Elderberry Wine's really good. Blues for My Baby and Me is really good. Midnight Creeper is a great way to close out the first side. Have Mercy on the Criminal is really good. I love I'm Gonna Be a Teenage Idol. That's a great song. Texan Love Song's great. Crocodile Rock is an amazing song. It's a song that got me into this album. And my favorite song on the album is High Flying Bird. That song is such a great way to close out this album. It's one of my favorite. I think this might be my favorite Elton song ever. It's such a great song. It's very overlooked. But yeah, that's my number one.
Yeah. Great choice.
Before we close out, if you don't mind, quickly going over your top five again.
Yeah, so my number five was Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. Number four was Tumbleweed Connection. Three was Madman Across the Water. Two was Elton John Self-Titled, and my favorite was Goodbye Elizabeth Road.
Okay. My number five was Madman Across the Water. My number four was Elton John Self-Titled. My number three was Yellow Brick Road. My number two was Honky Chateau. My favorite was Don't Shoot Me, I'm a Piano Player. Anything you want to say about Elton John before we close out stream?
Just in the 1970s, he just made classic after classic album. Yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone for owning all the Elton 1970s albums. I've got quite a few of them, but I've definitely not got all of them though. But thanks for having me on your channel again, Nick.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Last thing I gotta say is Elton John's an amazing artist. I think he made some of the best music ever, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had 2 viewers watching for most of the video, now I have 1. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching.